Yo guys, it's Vin, and welcome to my long-awaited complete axe guide. Today we're going to be going over everything. The movesets, the combos, strings, reads, edgeguarding, general strategy, and basically whatever else I thought was important to know. And you may notice pretty early on that this guide is actually structured quite a bit different from my other ones, and that's just because my friend Korai, this is at the time he was starting to learn Taros, and he's a really good hammer player, but he wanted me to teach him axe, so I thought I could knock out two birds with one stone and teach him and record at the same time. I probably won't be having this structure very often, but let me know what you guys think of it, and yeah, I've rambled long enough. Let's just get into the video. Nlight is pretty much instant. This has almost no startup frames. It's really good on the edge because it also has a lot of active frames. So if someone's on the edge like this, you can kind of like dash dance, bait them to come up, and then Nlight, and the active frames will probably even catch their dodge. Nlight is really good also for stringing in low health because you can get Nlight into dash sidelight or chase dodge sidelight like 4 frames or so early health, which is really good. Nlight is also really good for doing chase dodge stuff like that. It's kind of like bow sidelight in the fact that you can do, let's pretend he's on lower damage. I can do like this, chase dodge up, and then chain dodge up diagonal, down diagonal, go behind him, and then sidelight read. Now we're gonna go over your bread and butter combo starter, which is sidelight. Sidelight Nair is going to be your main true combo for building damage. And then sidelight Sair is going to be your main kill option. You're going to need to hit the sidelight very close unless you actually do a GC sidelight, because sidelight does have some variable force, and the closer that you hit the sidelight, the less they get propped up. So if you do a GC sidelight, you can actually hit sidelight Sair true from much farther away. Sidelight is really slow, but it also has a lot of range to make up for it. But because it's a disjointed hitbox, you won't be able to hit it really close like this. Okay, that hit, but you won't hit like that. Sidelight also has a lot of dash impulse, so you can like completely dash across the stage like Qatar sidelight. You can actually hit sidelight Nair really, really close. A lot of people think that you can only do sidelight Nair when you hit them from far away, but in fact you can actually hit them really close and then do like that. But if you hit a sidelight close and then you do a Nair and then start to drift back after you hit the Nair, a Nair really close to them, which is good for building damage because an early health sidelight Sair isn't really optimal because it doesn't kill them because they're in white, and it also doesn't set you up into really good reads because it pushes them super far away. Sidelight Dlight is also another true combo, although I don't recommend it because it's hard to hit. It's basically in the same boat as sidelight Sair, which you need to hit it in the same really close area. Like that was definitely not true. And even then you could just do the sidelight Nair like that by drifting away, which is a lot better for reading and stuff. And the final sidelight combo that I want to talk about is sidelight Dair. This is probably the least consistent, maybe tied with sidelight Dlight. In my opinion, this is actually the most optimal one to go for if you hit the sidelight super close at white, because although it's really inconsistent, it puts them right below you. And because of this, you can kind of like read them and go into Dairs and Dlights and stuff. And that actually goes right into my next point, which we'll talk about axe Dlight. Now, this is probably the most sleeper move on the axe kit. It's literally like bow Nlight. It has basically the same frame data, almost the same hitbox, and it actually covers a little bit above you. And I could probably hit him like that. He's right above me, and I can hit him with axe Dlight. Yeah, exactly. It's stupid. It should not exist, but it does, so we take advantage of it. And that actually leads into my next point, which not enough people use axe Dlight. If you look at Cody Travis play, he actually, like, if he's playing well, he will literally hit every single axe Dlight. And although it doesn't kill very well, it's really good for catching landings. Dlight is unpunishable. And another thing that you can do with axe Dlight is you can combo it, or not combo it, but you can wake up immediately after with Nlight. So let's say if someone is falling down from the stage, you do a Dlight, right? And you miss, and they land right in front of you, you can do an Nlight right afterwards. And the same thing goes for Nlight. You can do an Nlight, and if they jump over it, immediately do a Dlight. And I'm gonna miss my Dlight. Yeah, exactly like that. I wish I could replay that, but I missed my Nlight and then turned around and Dlight immediately after. It's really, really good. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Replay it in editing?
Yeah, I'll replay it in editing. Yeah, right now. Yeah, right there. There you go. Next we'll go into the axe aerial kit. Axe Nair is extremely stupid. Actually, yeah, stand literally right there. I bet this will hit. This is so stupid. Why does this hit? I don't. Why does that hit? Oh my god. Well, I didn't even think that would hit there. Oh my god. Yeah, literally, because your eyes are above the stage, this actually counts as line of sight. So you can literally just tap people like that, and it's really stupid. This is literally 18 damage right there. So that's basically 20 free damage off the edge. Axe Nair is also really good for juggling. I can just like chase him with Nairs and he literally can't punish me. Like if I'm falling down like this, how is he going to punish me if I mix in rising Nairs and then falling Nairs like that? The only time that this is punishable is if you do a really bad Nair like this and land on the ground and you both land at the same time. He could definitely hit me like from the front. But really, you shouldn't be going for falling Nairs this low to the ground anyway. Realistically, you should just be going for Dlight at that point.
Why is Terror so fast?
Okay, the next thing I want to talk about with Axe Nair juggling is that you can actually do, like, combine it with jump GC Dlights or just regular GC Dlights to keep people in the air. If you're on the ground, hit them with a Dlight. If you're in the air, hit them with a Nair. Or if you want to mix up with the Nair, you hit them like this into a jump GC Dlight. And that will actually catch a lot of people off guard. And if you think about it, jump GC Dlight is pretty unpunishable because your opponent actually has to run away from you anyway. So like, let's say I miss this jump GC Dlight, I can literally cover myself with a falling Nair. Sair is actually your main kill move on Axe, and there's a big thing about like Axe. If you want to learn how to fight against an Axe player, you just don't get Saired, which you hear this a lot, and that is basically true. Axe Sair is really their only way to kill you besides Nlight or sigs, which are a little bit less reliable. Sair is really weird because if you do a sidelight Sair, you can actually always dodge it. I know it's a true combo, but you can actually dodge it 100% of the time if you dodge up in. I literally learned about this 2 days ago. Sair is also really good because you can just kind of drift around with it. These dash jump reverse Sairs, yeah, exactly. But yeah, you can do like that and just constantly Sair people into the wall. Sair is also really good for platform mechanics because you can kind of just jump off the platform and throw this out because of how much drift it has. The only thing I really want to say about sidelight Sair is that, yeah, okay, in early health, you should pretty much always be going for the sidelight drift away Nair. But let's say you don't feel comfortable with that, you can do a sidelight Sair into chase dodge forward Dair and do strings like that. Dair true combos into Dlight if you hit the grounded version like that. If you hit the front version, it's going to be 2 frames. Pretty much every grounded option on Axe. Combined with those, Dair is pretty much your main neutral option for approaching somebody. Dair is also your main edgeguarding tool. A lot of people like to joke that Groundpound and Recovery are your main edgeguarding tools, but honestly, yeah, like that. Axe Dair is really good. Dash jump Dairs are also really good. If you do a dash jump, turn around Dair like that, this is really good for breaking space and jumping over low height moves like Hammer Dlight. And the 2 last moves I want to talk about are Recovery and Groundpound. Exhausted Recovery is really good for catching people off guard. I chase them off stage. I can do a Exhausted Recovery, and this has the same force as a normal recovery, except it has a shorter range and a weirder, more awkward hitbox. One more bread and butter thing to know is that sidelight Nair recovery is really, really good for catching a lot of reads. One more thing about recovery is that it can be used in later healths to kill people out of sidelight. If you do sidelight recovery, although it's definitely not a true combo, it'll probably catch people even if they dodge because recovery takes such a long time. If Korai is on red health, there's no reason for me to do sidelight Nair anymore because I'm just wasting time. I can't do a sidelight Sair if I hit it really far away. However, I can do a sidelight recovery because as you saw there, he dodged up, but it literally caught it. Even if he dodged down, it would have hit him with the bottom part and sent him this way, and it still would have killed him. Groundpound is literally a circle, just like recovery. I mean, this is like the main, oops, I killed myself, main thing that you should do to secure knockouts if your opponent doesn't have a dodge off stage. Groundpound can literally be used to cover every single read. If you do a sidelight Nair into jump Groundpound, if depending on how you drift it, this will cover literally every single read. Another thing that's really good is sidelight into Groundpound as to kill if you think they're going to dodge inwards. Let's say I do an Nlight and I do a chase dodge like this. Groundpound will cover a lot of options. Too many strings per se on Axe. The gameplay is very linear. A lot of it is just sidelight Nair combos. Another really good string out of Dlight is you can do a Dlight into a jump Nair or a chase dodge up Nair. If they don't have anything, do a like this. If they don't have anything, they're going to be hit with a jump Nair for free. That is not unjumpable, but a lot of times people don't jump it. It can also be used in later healths as a read. A lot of people love to dodge down after this. So you can do a jump recovery if they don't do anything in this health, or if they're on red and they dodge down, that'll kill them if you do a jump recovery. Or of course you can do a jump nair if you don't want to be as committal, because of course jump recovery has a lot of active frames, so if you missed, you're going to be hard punished. This Dlight into a jump nair, you can kind of keep like continuing. If you hit that jump nair, you can do a jump GC Dlight or regular GC Dlight. There really aren't too many other good strings on Axe, but the one I can think of is one I already talked about before, which is something like that. You do a sidelight Sair, chase dodge forward, reverse Dair, and that catches a lot of people off guard if you do hit the sidelight Sair. However, like I said before, if you're hitting the sidelight close, you want to be doing a drift away Nair, because it sets up into a better position for reads, which we'll talk about very soon. And one final really good string on Axe has to do with platforms. If you do a sidelight Nair into a platform cancel Dlight, that is 1 frame on 6 decks or higher, and 5 decks or lower, that is 2 frames. And of course, you don't need a platform either. You can just do a sidelight Nair into GC Dlight for 3 frames on 6 decks or higher, or 5 decks or lower, that will be 4 frames. So it is jumpable if you have to use a GC. This is pretty much guaranteed, the platform cancel version that is, if they don't have anything. So pretty much in the beginning of the match, I always go for this because it puts that precedent in your opponent's mind that, oh, he's going to do a GC Dlight. Like if I don't dodge, I'm going to be hit with something. So this forces them to use a dodge, and this sets up into reads, which again, we'll talk about soon. The last thing I want to talk about is sigs and strings. A lot of the Axe characters actually have great sigs for stringing out of them. For example, sidelight end sig on Brawlhalla is true if you hit it at a certain angle. It's kind of weird, I can't hit it true very often. However, if they don't have a dodge, it's only 1 frame most of the time if you hit it close, so that's unjumpable. Another thing is sidelight end sig on Ragnir is true. Sidelight end sig on Volkov is 1 frame at pretty much all healths. And you can even do sidelight end sig on Zul as a replacement for sidelight recovery on high healths, on high damages. Another place where you can use these 45-degree angle signatures, like I was talking about, is out of Dair and Dlight. If you do something like that, that will cover a lot of dodges, and even if they don't dodge, it'll probably cover. This is a really popular option on Volkov or Zul. You do a Dair and into a reverse Ensig, that'll probably catch. And another thing is you can do, if you hit the frontal part of Dair, you can do a dash forward, turn around Ensig, and that will catch a lot of dodges. A lot of people love to spot dodge that because they are not familiar with this option. And the only way to use platforms is not just with Dlight. You can also be using them out with signatures too. Like, let's say I do like this into a reverse Ensig, or not even reverse, I can just do a normal Ensig. That'll cover a lot of dodges, especially if your opponent likes to spot dodge, which a lot of people do because they're not familiar with these platform cancel options, especially in lower ranks. And while we're on the topic of platforms, I wanted to talk about platforming and Sairs. Doing these types of dash cancels and Sairing is really good because it's really quick and unexpected, especially since Axe is such a linear weapon. Sidelight Sair is not consistent unless you're a god at spacing this super close, the sidelight that is. However, a way to get around this is by using platforms to your advantage. Let's say you do a platform cancel like this, turn around Sair, that will catch like that. You can also do them with other moves. You don't even have to do with Sair. If they're on the platform with you, you can go like that and Nair. Axe is a pretty linear weapon, so the more tricks you have up your sleeve to catch them off guard, the better. A lot of people don't think Axe is really easy to read on. Okay, well, it is easy to read on, but it's not necessarily a read weapon, a lot of people think. If you do sidelight Nair, this is basically sets up into every single read with a Groundpound. I can just drift forward, chase him with a Groundpound. Probably the best dodge on Axe on literally both of your read starters is dodge down. Can you do a dodge down? Do a GC sidelight Nair, and that will catch both dodge down and dodge out. The basic concept is that I do a sidelight Nair, read the dodge down, GC sidelight Nair, and then jump recovery, and that will literally kill on 50 damage on shipwreck, that is something else. If you hit a frontal Dair, you can actually read off of it and then string into another Dair Dlight. And let me show you how. Can you do a dodge down after my first Dair? Simply Dair again, and then Dlight. Now, Dair basically covers every single read, so do the dodge hours here. You can do a dash jump like that, and then keep stringing like that. Can you dodge inwards now? Just another Dair will cover that too. And if you think they're going to jump, you can do a same thing, recovery to catch jumps. You die. That's so aggressive sounding.
Yep.
Ground Pound will catch that. And then that strings perfectly into Dlight Sair or Dlight Nair because the Ground Pound will actually send them down to the ground. Oh, look at that, 0 to death. I can't guarantee that'll happen. And one final note about this is that sigs are actually really, really good for stringing out of Dair, like I said before, but they're also really good for reading. I can chase him with a dash and sig. Any 45-degree angle signature, especially like Volkov, Jala, or Zol and sig, they're really, really good for stringing out of Dair. And one final thing I want to talk about with Dair and Ground Pound is if you're not really sure where they're going to go and you can't get a hard Dair into Dair read, I would really highly suggest that you just go for Dair into Ground Pound. Dair into Ground Pound will probably catch. Like, if I do this frontal Dair into a dash jump Ground Pound, that'll catch, like, every single option. Like, that catches that, too, on higher health. Seriously, if you don't know where they're gonna go, just do a Dair into Ground Pound. One of the main things that I want to talk about here is not floating around and fishing for Sairs like I already talked about. Of course, Sair is your main kill option, so you're going to want to be using it a lot. But it is extremely telegraphed. Like, this is probably the most predictable thing you could do in Brawlhalla, being an Axe player, float around when they're on red and look for Sair. Sair only does like 20 damage, so if you're just looking for single hits, you're going to be building damage a lot slower than if you are just staying grounded and looking for your main true combo starter. This is already like 50% more damage than just one Sair. So my biggest principle for you to follow is to just stay grounded. A lot of times on Axe, instead of floating around and fishing for falling Sairs, it's probably better to just fast fall to the ground, land, and use your Nlights, and instead try to catch a Dlight Sair. And I know I said that Dlight Sair isn't very consistent, however you can substitute it for Dlight Recovery. However, if they're not and they're just in neutral, like that, let's say they're just running around you, a lot of times it's not a good idea to just fish for Dlights, because if you're just playing like a bow player, just doing Dlight into backdash Dlight into backdash Dlight over and over again, it gets extremely predictable, like I talked about with the Sair stuff. Instead, you should just be doing Nlight when they're right in front of you. That is a grounded kill option, it's your only grounded kill option, and if they're right above you, you should do a Dlight. And my final general tip for you on Axe is to not use it as a reactionary weapon. Unless your reaction speed is extremely fast, you really shouldn't be trying to react out of Dlight Nair. In my opinion, it's better to just throw out reads like that, because of course, Ground Pound and Recovery are extremely slow moves. They have a lot of startup frames. So let's say I do this and then try to react to him. I'm going to be hitting with the back end of Recovery by the time I react to him. And then again, I probably won't hit it at all. If you're throwing out reads like this, it's a lot harder to be punished, for one. And you also have a much higher chance of hitting because, again, you want to play to the fact that Axe is just a bunch of circles. Ground Pound is a circle. Recovery is a circle. If you throw it out, you'll probably hit them, but the thing is it has so many startup frames, so you're not going to be able to react very effectively like you would with a Scythe or Gauntlets or Katars that have low startup frames. If your opponent is kind of wanting to come up stage, you can a lot of times bait them out with a dash dance and then do an Nlight, because this has a lot of active frames. A lot of times your opponent will try to use their recovery to get up, and if you use this Nlight, you're perfectly safe from most recoveries and it'll clash them. So if they're on red, they'll be sent really far out and they'll probably just fall to their death. Another way you can bait out people to use Nlight instead of just dash dancing and then doing an Nlight is if you have a sig like Azoth D-Sig, Taros D-Sig is another one, and he does a D-Sig, I want to come up, and he just does Nlight and that kills me. A lot of times, if you're hitting someone with these dash dances or D-Sigs into Nlight, like baiting them like that, a lot of times they won't just try to recover directly into you. A lot of times they'll try to recover high, and this is where I would say it's a really good place to use your sigs. If you play like Jala, Volkov, Ragnir, Zol, and you use your N-Sig, even Taros, if you do an N-Sig like that, that'll catch a lot of people jumping up. And if they're recovering really high, you can do a recovery, your own recovery to kind of stuff that out. You can just do a simple back up, dash jump Sair and kind of bait them like that. You can do a Nair also. Nair is not really as effective. If you want to surprise somebody, you can do a dash jump fast roll, reverse Dair to catch like that. And if they keep jumping out of it, you can fall down, rising Dair, fall down, rising Dair. And another thing you can do is hit them with jump Sairs off stage, or even dash jump fast fall Sairs like this if you want to hit them into the wall, because if they get hit like that, it doesn't count as a wall touch. If they're on red and they've already burned their options, they're going to have to come back like this, and it's very easy to catch a ground pound afterwards. Like I said, ground pound and recovery are extremely predictable, so you should only use it if your opponent, one, doesn't have a dodge, or if like they did a GC or something like that, or if they did their own move and are in recovery frames. And a lot of times you want to be doing a reverse because the frontal part, the first hitbox that comes out of ground pound is right in front of you. So if you do a reverse and catch it into the wall, it'll hit them really quickly. Alright guys, this is actually me from the future. I'm editing this in later because I noticed after Korai got off, I forgot to say a few things. I know I said Nair is probably your best bet as an anti-edgeguard, which it really is, but if you wanted to mix up your opponent, GC Dlight is also really good. Axe Nlight sends them, like on higher damages, it sends 30-degree angle upwards. So you can, like, if they don't do anything, if they either dive kick or they don't do anything, you can do a straight weapon throw like that, and that'll catch both dive kick and spot dodge or like indoor dodge or anything like that. If they dodge upwards, you can do, if they jump, you can go like that and dash jump weapon throw like that. Axe weapon throws on stage are extremely good because you can combo them into Nlight, not combo, but you can string them into Nlight and pretty much no one dodges that. Also, weapon throws downwards are also pretty good, like going like that, down throw into Nair is also pretty good. And another thing on the anti-edge guarding point is, besides Nair and GC Dlight, you can actually jump up like that and throw your weapon diagonally. I know you can do that on pretty much every weapon, but the axe hitbox is fairly big, and you can actually just dash up to it and pick it up and Nlight if they're on white to yellow for some quick damage. So yeah, I hope this sufficed. I hope Korai, I hope you learned something. I hope the viewers learned something. I hope it was easy to watch. I know I was kind of rambling at points because I don't have a script necessarily, but again, I think this is a lot better because it's such a linear weapon. It's very easy for me to talk about this. Also because I'm an axe main, so I have a lot of time on this. I'll see you next time. Bye.